Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mastering Local Marketing Podcast. And we're just going to continue the last episode, which was what great salespeople notice and what you pick up on, what you've been in the field, you've seen, what you've maybe read about, that kind of thing. But we're going to go through it with Matt Hansen. He is a professor of digital marketing. And he is the star of this podcast. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Nobody mentions this, but the objection a customer gives you is often not the objection stopping the sale. They may talk about price, timing, or needing to think about it, while the real concern stays hidden. Great salespeople learn to listen for what customers are reluctant to say. Why are we doing 2 episodes on what great salespeople notice?
Because we're going to do 3 overall. Well, so, again, people talk to me about sales all the time, and I see really bad salespeople pretty often. And they don't listen. They're just, it's constant. It's probably because my wife and I had a conversation about potentially going and getting another car, and that's... You start dealing with salespeople and all of that. And it's funny because most people hate dealing with the sales process, but I actually love it because really good salespeople excite me and really bad salespeople excite me because the really bad ones I can actually play with. And the really good ones I can literally look at them and, I'm pleased to deal with they're listening. They really understand the needs that I have. And when we talk about objections, it's huge. I mean, you're going to put stuff out there, and I do these on purpose many times. And, a lot of people are probably like, you're awful for this, but this is science to me. I love to kind of see where people are going to go. And there's an old movie, and I cannot remember. I think it was called Boiler Room. And this guy's sitting at home, and he gets a phone call as he's eating a cereal in the morning, and it's a guy trying to sell him on the newspaper. And he gives him like one line, and he goes, no, I don't need it. And he's like, okay, well, thank you, sir. And he goes, whoa, wait a minute. That's your sales pitch? Like, that's what you're selling me on? He's like, come on, give me something more, right? And so he goes through this whole process, and he's telling him how great it is and, how it compares to the other newspaper that's out there. And he throws a few things out there to kind of, I don't necessarily read the news. And, and it's all this kind of, he goes back and forth. And in the end, he goes, now that was a great sales pitch. And the guy goes, all right, so you're going to buy? And he goes, no, I get my news elsewhere. And he hangs up on him. But it was just funny because, just to listen to it, you went from a horrible sales pitch to a really good one, and not everyone's going to buy. We all know that. But we're going to go through a series of, objections that people go through, and, we're just going to talk about that. Not I've gone through, when I buy a car, I talk to as many dealerships as possible because I want to see who's listening. I don't want them trying to push me on something. I'm not buying $7,500 in accessories. I'm not buying your crazy financing. I'm not doing any of this stuff. But if you just listen, right? I will walk in and give them, here are 2 things that I'm looking for. Make this happen, and I'm walking out of here with a car. And, those are things that you need to listen to. And now I get it that not everyone's like that, but everyone provides very, very similar objections to what they're talking about. Or what they're trying to go out there and buy.
How about this objection? Let me think about it.
Yeah, that's always fun, right? So I'm getting out of here. Let me think about it. Okay, well, you haven't done your job at that point because they don't understand why it's going to value them and why they're going to be better off buying what you're selling. Maybe they just don't understand what you're selling, right? I'm going to go back. I'm going to think about it. The real question is, okay, and what is it that I have not accomplished today to make you understand the value that we're selling? What is it that you're still concerned about, confused about? How can I help solve that? If I were to solve one thing right now, what would that be? And they'll usually tell you what it is. And it's not about having to go and think about it. It's usually not about price. It's about something else that they've thrown out there that now you can have a real conversation about. And, you know, when they say, I need some time, let me go talk about it. You know, it's kind of like the missing decision maker that you get as well, right? Like, I need to go talk to my boss, or I need to go talk to somebody else. Okay.
Oh, I as soon as I hear
You get that all the time.
the third party thing,
Yep.
I'm like, all right, you know, I got a lot to do. We're going back to the Pareto principle.
Right.
As soon as someone says, well, you know, let me talk to my accountant, or let me talk to the CFO or something, as soon as they third party that, every once in a while, in my mind, you have to take it as a rejection, and you can either come back with, you know, trying to convince them of the value, or you can realize that, you know, come on, man, it's just let them go their own way. I mean, anymore, we get so many inquiries, I just let them go. But you might not always have that option.
Well,
I'm not a big one on that third part. Oh,
Sure.
I got to talk to this one. Yeah, all right, go ahead. See you, bye.
Yeah. Well, see, and the way I look at that is I would come back and say, well, you know them best, and you know what they're going to be asking for. And it sounds to me like I may need to get some more information for them. So how would you like it if I could put that together? You know, what do you expect them to push back on? What are some of the concerns that they're going to have from their perspective? What are they looking for? And I know you're kind of shaking your head like you wouldn't do
my
that.
head because the next bullet point here is that the wall is up.
Okay.
And when you're in that high quantity business and I run how many media now? Mm-hmm. I don't, if somebody's wall is up, the amount of work and resources to go from awareness to consideration, unless you can kind of sense that it's a very large number, is not worth it. They're in that 20% that's going to cost you 80% of your time. You have to class it. In my mind, you don't want to do that. You want to show how to bring somebody around and show them value and what a good salesperson would want to say. But I go back to my trading days.
Okay.
You do a trade, and as soon as you know that trade's no good, you got to get out of it. You can't hope and wait and try to make it a better job. Just poof, out.
True, but if you're making $100 on that trade or you're making $100,000 on that trade, you're going to react differently.
No, it's the same principle. Always out. If it's a big trade and it doesn't smell right to you, out. If you buy a small trade, doesn't smell right to you, out. Then you're in the game again. I could play again.
No, I understand.
So, I mean, I'm bringing a different perspective. Maybe you're talking about, you know, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 calls a week and clients, and they've already gotten there. They're probably already at the consideration stage. I'm talking about a much higher level volume business, or a higher level thing about trading is the market teaches you, as soon as it smells no good, boom. And you have taught that in your classes with the Pareto principle, but, you know, now you're kind of like maybe showing another side to that.
Well,
I go back to out. As soon as it's no good, out.
Well, looking at your business, if somebody calls in and they're wanting to spend $99 or they're wanting to spend $100,000, those are two different conversations. So if their wall is up and they're I'm not quite sure. I've heard about you from other people. You know, let's say it's a major publicly traded company that calls you up and says, we would love to do some work with you. Can you give us some, an advertising package and tell us what you guys can do for us? And you come back and, whatever. Well, all right, I don't know. We're going to think about it. And the first thing that I would say is, okay, what else are we looking for here? What did I not answer? And we'll go through all of those things. And then the last thing that I would say is, you know what? I've got a couple other clients that are in the same boat, just like you. Would it be okay if I passed along your phone number? They could give you a call just to kind of see how that's working with them. So you can see, not from us, but have them give you a buzz and just let them know, like, you guys can compare notes. And I've done that plenty of times, and I've gotten a ton of business by doing that. And it's just because, like, if your customers are really good business partners, which is what it should be, they would have no problem with that. And I get that all the time. Like, I will do that for other businesses that I'm dealing with. They'll ask me, like, can you take a phone call for me? It's a potential customer, huge customer for us. I'll make it worth your while. Like, they just want to talk to you about how it is doing business with us. Absolutely. Have them give me a call, right? You're more inclined to get that business, but you realize, like, if they don't know you from anybody else, that wall is going to be up. I mean, let's face it, we're human beings. We're resistant to putting ourselves in danger. So, I get where you're going with the clients and customers and all of that cause issues. I've got a few that I work with that.
And you will not cut bait. I know you. You don't cut bait.
I do, actually.
Oh, come on.
do.
I hear you sitting here and we have very candid conversations that are confidential. And I would just say that without mentioning anything specific, I feel as if there's anything I could offer you.
Yeah.
And it's very little, because you have just completely changed our businesses, allowed me to go in other areas, and I appreciate it immensely just by doing this podcast and taking your classes. But if there was anything I learned at the Board of Trade that I could bring to you or through this business, is that you have to cut bait right away. It keeps you in the market and focused where you need. If you're over here dinkering around, and I see you dinkering around, and you come in and you're all harried on your face, I'm like, what's going on? Oh, this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why are you doing that, man? You got a great life. You do not have to deal with the 20% that causes you 80% of your attention.
I think you're right.
Am I wrong in bringing that up to the master?
No, so going back years, I used to take every phone call. I used to take every meeting and everything like that.
Me too.
And now, at this point, I'm not chasing anymore. I'm not, like, I have my clients that I want to work with.
I'm glad that you brought up, this is the fundamentals.
Yeah.
But now you're talking real world and being candid.
Sure.
And you used the word that I was looking for, chasing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, and I used to chase. But, you also got to realize, too, and there's probably listeners out there today that are going, yeah, I have to chase because I got to put food on the table. And that's a different story. But, once you get to a point, now every business when they first start is trying to get as many customers.
Everybody chases in the beginning.
Of course. But you get to a point, and it's funny because you'll get to a point where you can start to select the customers that you want to work with. You don't want to deal with the headaches. And I've had, me personally, I've kind of had that realization over the last 2 years that somebody calls me and they want to do, $1,000 consult. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's not it.
By the time it's not there, right? But if somebody calls me and says we want to do a $50,000 consult and want to work with you for the year, okay, we'll have a conversation, right? And I know those are drastically different numbers and they may not fit our listeners' numbers, but it took me years to get to there, right? Like, so my consulting agency, this is 17th year that we've been in business, and we've gone down a road, and now the clients that I work with are huge clients, and we're doing amazing things, and that's the fun part. But you're right though about chasing, and I think we're getting a little off topic, but chasing is when you're in your infancy of your business, you have to chase, but at some point you don't want to chase anymore, and you want to make it easy, but you are also leaving some money on the table if you're not chasing some of the bigger fish that could convert to that 80-20 that we talked about.
Well, we are off topic.
Yeah.
But the people that listen and tell me that they listen and watch it, they want that from your life or from my life, what we have seen. And I'm basically at a point where you're at, where it's like, listen, I want as many clients as possible to sell them advertising. We have a great product. The product market fit is what I've been going after for a long time. And I think we kind of got a lot closer than we were 2 or 5 or 20 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
once you have that, so we're talking about past the chase stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have to chase in the beginning. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to go everywhere. You have to call people. You have to lower your prices. You have to be aggressive. You have to be that person that you didn't even sometimes think you were gonna be. But at some point, you have to grow. You actually have to pivot off of that person. Am I?
Yeah, no, you
I didn't
follow
mean
the
to,
money.
hold your feet to the fire on that. But to me, I think it's just a realization now of cut bait. Just cut your losing trade now. Yeah. And if you're that buyer, then perhaps you have to think about that sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't. Why am I getting such high prices? Well, I'm being a baby about
being difficult.
Yeah, I'm being difficult, right?
Yep.
And I think in years past, being difficult was kind of how it was supposed to be. You were supposed to be a difficult person from North Hammond, and you're gonna be like, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, listen, I don't have to deal with you. Like, I can't get anybody to put a roof on. Well, look in the mirror, pal. But anyways, that's a different story. We did get off. All right, so let's go back to some of the stuff about they don't want to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just don't have enough money sometimes.
Yep.
They're afraid of making a mistake. They don't trust you.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all things that you could address.
Well, let's go to the mistake, right? So if you don't know anything, you bring up your HVAC buddy a lot, right? And then we've talked about him. And if you don't know anything about HVAC systems and you have somebody come out and you have a single person give you a quote, and let's say it's, I'll just give you a number, $12,000 for a new HVAC system to your house. You're going to look at that and go, wow, that's a lot of money. No frame of reference to prices. Are they selling me a good unit? Do they know what they're talking? Is this thing going to last me 5 years or is it going to last me 25 years, right? Like, I don't know any of this stuff. And the wall is up again, going back to it, right? And you have to realize that people are putting trust into that. So they may call 2 or 3 different places and you're going to get prices all over the place, right?
AI could tell them now.
Yeah. So you'll get prices all over the place. So, let's say you get one that's $8,000, one that's $12,000, one that's $15,000. What does that tell you? Well, there's one that's cheaper, but human beings at that point are sitting there going, well, why is it so much cheaper? Is it going to support the square footage in my house? Is it going to keep my house as cool? It's 147 today outside here. Is our house going to stay?
And inside here.
Yeah. No, but that's what I mean. Like, is it, all of these questions, we worry about making a mistake. Now, if you're the salesperson, you're walking them through and going, okay, you're going to please go out there and shop. You're going to get a variety of different prices.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Right?
Because if you are feeling that this is a possible client, you're encouraging them to look at other options.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Go out there, and if you want to base it strictly on price, please go with the lowest option. If it's us, great. If it's not, completely understand. But also realize that there's a variety of other issues that will pop up. Maintenance, the ability to get people to come out and fix things, the warranty, how many square feet this unit is going to take care of. Are there certain parts that are covered under warranty and certain parts that aren't? Right? There's all of these different things that are going to come up. Do we have any, testimonials? Do we have anyone that you can talk to that has worked with us? If I'm bringing down the wall by having a conversation with them about, I'm showing you my cards, 100%. And if you go with us, great. We'll be here on Monday and we'll put that, the unit in for you. But if not, next time, if something happens, if the unit that you buy that's cheaper fails and you can't get them to come out, give us a call. We'll take care of you at that point, and we'll see you then. But we would love to have your business. Now, that's a different sales message than just writing it up. Here's your proposal. Here's the price. Give us a call when you're ready to decide. If I have to choose between those two, I may spend more money, because I feel more comfortable with that one individual. I know that they're going to be there, and I've worked with HVAC people in the past, and I've got one that has installed an HVAC system that I couldn't, as soon as something happened, couldn't get them to come back. And I've got another that literally will contact me yearly and asking me if there's any issues, right? So when you start looking at it and somebody says, who do you know for HVAC systems? I'm not recommending the first one, let's be honest, right? So there's a variety of goodwill that goes along with trying to break down those walls. And you're going to sell more if you can realize that there's a trust issue there. So that listen for it. And, whether they're saying it costs too much or, I need to think about it or whatever it may be, break down those walls by just being you and being honest and kind of opening those things up. You'll sell more, you'll get better clients, you'll get better customers, and they'll be more likely to actually, give you testimonials and speak your praises to the world.
He's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Dietl. I'm a media guy. I own a number of media now. And she is Adriana Alvarez, the producer and the manager of the WJOB Podcast Network. If you want your own podcast, you go to Adriana with 2 N's at WJOB1230.com. Just send her an email or even tell her, hey, she's doing a good job, or if you have any ideas. Matt and I just record, and then we leave, and that's it. And she does the rest. Thanks a lot to you, Matt. Thanks a lot to you, Adriana. But mostly, thanks a lot to you, listener, viewer. And until next time, see you later.